Greetings, writing art criticism students. I hope this finds you well and that you are in the midst or will be getting into the midst of enjoying time with your family and friends during this um, Thanksgiving holiday. I had sent along a short list yesterday of some possible critics that you might want to use for your final paper, and I thought I would just talk a little bit about how I how I conceive of the final project. Um, and also just how I think about this graduate program and the graduate courses in general, just to give you a sense of how I think about it as a as an as an art critic and an art historian in and serving on um, college faculty. I spent a lot of time in artist studios, young students, the undergraduates in the BFA program that I was involved in. And when students would, and I would often be asked to, and I've often been asked to serve as a juror for uh, student shows in colleges throughout the country. And when I go and the work is all laid out in the gallery spaces and I'm making my selections for the exhibition, it's very easy for me to tell that every single one of those works was generated from an assignment. So uh, the studio faculty arranged a bowl of fruit, and so then there are a dozen charcoal drawings of bowls of fruit, or there's a particular view of a particular self-portrait project or something. The work that I'm judging and selecting is coming out of an assignment. And so the assignment and the subject then are imposed upon the work. Moreover, it is also very easy for me to see when students paint or draw portraits um, or represent other images that are drawn from photographs. There's something stiff about it and flat. They've not been able to translate the photograph into um, onto that piece of paper or that canvas in order to give it a particular kind of life on the inside. And so it remains something that is assigned to them. It's something on the outside. Um, it rings artificial, and it's very difficult for me to judge work outside of the fact that what I'm looking at are assignments. And in a similar way, with this graduate program, I'm not in the business of giving you assignments. I give you resources each week. I'm helping you along the way. My presumption is you're taking this class not just because you have to take it, but that you're taking this class because somehow and in some way you want to take it. There are questions about art criticism, about writing about art, what art critics do, um, that have emerged during your other coursework, that are questions that you are thinking about as a person that is devoting so much extra time in your life to participating in a graduate program. That my presumption and what I'm asking you to do is to bring with these classes your own questions, and this class is simply a continuation of a pursuit of your study of art. And I'm here as a guide to give you direction, to give you resources, to encourage you along the way, perhaps to provide some insights um, that I've um, that I've um, that I've acquired over the years. But the engine that's driving the class is your energy and the questions you bring to it. So that is what I would like you to focus on with your final paper. I I don't want to draw the assignment so tightly that you end up giving me a school assignment. So the final paper, I want you to focus on a critic. I want you to read at least three works, three reviews or essays of theirs, just to give you a broader sense than just analyzing one text. And then I want you to read, and I want you to write about the critic's writings in the context of an issue or several issues or problems or ideas that have come up during this class that are of interest to you. That's a pretty broad assignment, and it can be intimidating. The freedom that you have to do whatever you want in many ways, to pursue what you're interested in, is also a responsibility, and that is you have to decide what you're interested in. You have to make the commitment. The energy has to be driven from you, because I want to read writing from somebody who has something at stake in it, who's interested in this. I want you to think about what you think I'm interested in. What are you interested in? Because after this class, and you write your 12 to 15 page paper, that paper is going to be the document of this class. It is going to be what you achieved intellectually, what you fought for and fought through. It's the artifact that is the memento that you carry with you as you continue on to your next classes. So if someone asked you, what is it that you learned in Seidel's writing art criticism class? You take your paper out, you give it to them and say, this is what it is. This is what I got out of it. And it's daunting and intimidating, and to look at a blank piece of paper and not really have specific instructions is daunting. But as you well know, that's life. The work that we do is rarely ever a response to an assignment. We create the problem that we try to solve. And in fact, the experience I had as a doctoral student at the University of Iowa was a really interesting one. In preparing for my PhD comps, my doctoral advisor said, you submit to me the questions you want to answer. And from those are the questions, and from those, I will select those questions to give to you, for you to answer. So I'm not only answering the exam, I'm writing the exam. And so I have to develop the questions that I have to respond. And so with this paper, I'm asking you to develop the questions. If there's a different route that you want to go, you have a particular idea about writing art criticism that art criticism brings up, say the relationship between the word and image, or pursuing question of why art critics don't write about particular works of art in the modern tradition, or want to explore a particular exhibition with several critics, or you want to use several critics, please email me what you would like to do, and I will grant you permission, more than likely. And the paper proposal is a way for you to put a mark in the sand. This is what I'm going to be working on. I don't know exactly the direction it's going to go, but this is what I'm going to be working on. Let me know, so then I can say, hey, here are some resources for you. This is what you can do. But I want you, and too often, particularly in the distance education, the online graduate experience, the tendency can be creating lots of little assignments, lots of little to-dos that give the student the sense that they're actually accomplishing something. But what I wanted to do with this course and the courses that I offer in the context of the program is to push against that. Yeah, much of the world, I would say, is shaped by social media and the fact that we're on our phones constantly, and we feel a little strange and a little odd, so we get a little endorphin kick by checking our Instagram page, and we send a text to somebody, and we check on Twitter and see what's going on there. We get those little bits and pieces of tasty feedback that make us feel good. And often our education is that way. But where I want you to confront, and what the writers that you're reading, and the art historians and the scholars that you're reading, um, how they approach the world and the generation of knowledge, and how they approach how they are going to think about art and contribute their thinking, um, share with an audience their thinking about works of art, requires a different approach. So, what is it that you're interested in? What's at stake for you? What are the questions that that haunt you, that keep coming up in the classes that you want to pursue? And then I'm giving you the opportunity to do it. Pursue them. Don't just have those questions fumbling about in your mind and lurking back there as questions that are behind the program or behind the class. Throw it out on the table. Show your cards. That's the kind of writing I want to read. I want to read some writing in which the person who's writing has something at stake, and they're trying to learn something about themselves and the world, and it just so happens they're doing it within the context of a writing art criticism class in the context of a graduate program at Azusa Pacific. So I hope these thoughts are helpful to you. Please write me if you have any questions, and please enjoy your Thanksgiving. As I say often, the regret that I have is that I'm not able to meet each and every one of you. We're not able to sit around a seminar table over a course of a long semester, 15-week semester, and get to know each other in that way and have that conversation. And I wish you well, and I will address you again next week.